Noah's Ark, God's Promise. Prologue. The world's corruption. In the days when the earth was young, humanity multiplied under the vast dome of the heaven. Cities rose from the plains, their mud-brick towers piercing the sky, and fields bloomed with grain under the toil of calloused hands. But the heart of man had grown dark. Violence stained the earth, brother turned against brother. Tribes waged war for pride, and the sacred bond between creator and creation frayed like a worn cord. The Almighty looked upon the world he had fashioned, and his heart grieved. Yet amidst the chaos, one man stood apart. Noah, son of Lamech, a farmer and shepherd in the land of Shinar. At 500 years old, his face was weathered by sun and wind, his hands strong from years of labor. His heart, however, burned with a quiet faith, a flame kindled by stories of Eden and the God who walked with Adam. Noah's life was simple, tending flocks, tilling fields, and raising his sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, but his soul was tethered to the divine. One night, under a sky heavy with stars, Noah knelt in prayer beside his tent. The air was thick with the scent of olive trees and the distant cries of a world unraveling. As he prayed, a voice broke the silence, not the wind, not the bleating of sheep, but a voice like thunder and water, vast and intimate. "Noah," the voice said, "the earth is filled with violence, and I will cleanse it with a flood. But you have found favor in my sight. Build an ark of gopher wood, for I will spare you and your house. The waters will rise, but my covenant will endure." Noah trembled, his face pressed to the earth. The vision was clear, a vessel of salvation, a flood to end all things, and a promise of mercy. He rose, his heart pounding, knowing his life and the world would never be the same. Chapter 1. The Call to Build. The morning sun painted the hills of Shinar gold as Noah gathered his family outside their mud-brick home. His wife, Miriam, stood with arms crossed, her dark eyes searching his face. Shem, the eldest son, leaned on a staff, his brow furrowed. Ham, quick-witted and restless, paced, while Japheth, the youngest, watched his father with quiet trust. The flock grazed nearby, unaware of the weight of the moment. "The Lord has spoken," Noah began, his voice steady but heavy. "He will send a flood to destroy the earth, man, beast, and creeping thing. But he has commanded me to build an ark, a vessel to save us and the creatures he chooses. We must obey." Miriam's hand flew to her chest. "A flood? Noah, how can this be? The rivers are low, the sky's clear. What will the people say?" "They will mock," Noah said, "but God's word is sure. The ark must be 300 cubits long, 50 wide, and 30 high." Shem stepped forward, his voice cautious. "Father, such a task, it will take years. The timber alone, gopher wood, is scarce. And the people of Shinar, they already scorn us for your faith." Ham laughed bitterly. "They'll call us mad, building a ship in a valley with no sea. Father, are you certain of this vision?" Noah's eyes softened, but his resolve was iron. "I am certain, Ham. The Lord has never failed me. We will build, and he will provide." Japheth knelt beside his father, his voice earnest. "I trust you, Father. Tell us what to do." Noah laid out the plan. They would fell trees from the distant hills, trade for tools and pitch, and labor day and night. The ark would be a marvel, a floating fortress to house their family and the animals God would send. Miriam, though shaken, nodded, her hands already itching to organize provisions. The sons, despite their doubts, pledged their strength. As they set to work, the people of Shinar took notice. Neighbors whispered as Noah and his sons hauled timber through the dusty streets. "Noah's lost his mind," they said. "A boat in the desert. The old man's faith has broken him." Children threw stones, and merchants refused to trade, but Noah's family pressed on, their hands blistered, their hearts anchored by his vision. Chapter 2. The Ark Rises. Years passed, each marked by the rhythm of saws, hammers, and prayer. The ark took shape in a clearing near Noah's home, its skeleton of gopher wood rising like the ribs of a great beast. The structure was immense, dwarfing the houses of Shinar, its sides coated in black pitch that glistened under the sun. Noah worked tirelessly, his beard now streaked with grey, his hands calloused but precise. Miriam wove baskets for grain, sewed hides for bedding, and taught her daughters-in-law, Shem's wife Ada, Ham's wife Zillah, and Japheth's wife Naamah, to prepare for the unknown. The ark was a parter for North's inner-fit Tusains. As grueling, Shem, methodical and strong, shaped beams with an adze, his faith deepening with each swing. Ham, though skilled, grumbled often, his eyes lingering on the bustling city where life seemed easier. Japheth, ever cheerful, carved intricate patterns into the ark's door, his hands steady, even as taunts echoed from passers-by. The people of Shinar grew bolder in their mockery. "Noah, where's your rain?" they jeered, pointing to cloudless skies. A local chieftain, Tubal, a burly man with a scar across his cheek, confronted Noah one evening. "You're a fool, old man," he spat. "Your God is silent, and your ark is a monument to madness. Join us, feast, fight, live. Why toil for a delusion?" Noaska met Tubal's gaze, his voice calm but firm. "The Lord's judgment is coming, Tubal. Repent, and you may yet find mercy." Tubal laughed, his men joining in, but a shadow passed over his face. He turned away, muttering, and Noah sensed a flicker of doubt in the man's heart. Yet none joined Noah's cause. The world continued its spiral into violence, raids on neighboring tribes, sacrifices to idols of stone, and blood spilled over petty disputes. One night, as Noah prayed beside the half-finished ark, the voice of God returned. "The time draws near," it said. "Finish the ark, for in 7 days I will send rain for 40 days and nights. Every living thing not within the ark will perish." Noah's heart raced. 7 days. He woke his family, urgency in his voice. "The Lord has set a deadline. We must complete the ark and gather provisions. The animals will come. God will guide them." The final days were a frenzy. The family sealed the ark's seams with pitch, stocked it with grain, dried fruit, and salted meat, and built stalls for creatures yet unseen. As the 7th day dawned, a strange quiet fell over Shinar. The air grew heavy, the sky grey with clouds that had never before gathered so thickly. Chapter 3. The Gathering of Beasts. On the 7th day, the animals came. They arrived in pairs, their steps guided by an unseen hand. Lions with manes like fire, elephants lumbering like moving hills, gazelles darting with grace, and serpents slithering in silence. Birds filled the sky, their wings a kaleidoscope of color. From the eagle's majesty to the sparrow's humility. Creeping things, beetles, lizards, and creatures Noah could not name, scuttled into the ark's lower decks. The family stood in awe, guiding the creatures into stalls, their fear swallowed by wonder. Miriam whispered, "How can this be? The Lord's hand is mighty." Ham for once was silent, his hands trembling as he led a pair of wolves aboard. Shem and Japheth worked in harmony, their doubts erased by the miracle unfolding before them. The people of Shinar, watching from a distance, fell quiet, their mockery replaced by unease. Some approached, curious, but none dared enter the ark. As the last pair, a humble pair of doves, settled into their perch, the sky darkened. A wind howled through the valley, carrying the scent of rain. Noah stood at the ark's door, his voice raised to the gathering crowd. "The Lord's judgment is at hand. Come, enter the ark and be saved." A few hesitated, their eyes darting to the clouds, but pride and fear held them back. Tubal stood among them, his fists clenched, but he turned away, leading his people back to their homes. Noah's heart ached, but he obeyed the Lord's command. With his family and the animals inside, he sealed the ark's door, the pitch-smeared wood shutting with a thud that echoed like a final judgment. Chapter 4. The Waters Rise. The rain began as a whisper, a soft patter on the ark's roof. Then it grew to a roar, sheets of water cascading from the heavens. The earth trembled, and springs burst forth from the ground, flooding the valleys. Inside the ark, the family huddled on the middle deck, the cries of animals mingling with the storm's fury. The vessel groaned as it lifted, buoyed by waters that swallowed the hills. Miriam clung to Noah, her voice trembling. "Will we survive this, husband?" Noah took her hand, his eyes fixed on the ark's window, where rain blurred the world. "The Lord has promised, Miriam. We are in his hands." For 40 days and nights the rain fell without cease. The ark rocked on the waves, a speck in an endless sea. The family worked tirelessly, feeding animals, cleaning stalls, and repairing leaks. Shem and Ada sang hymns to calm the beasts, their voices a thread of hope. Ham, restless, climbed to the upper deck daily, peering through the window for a glimpse of sky, but saw only water. Japheth and Naamah tended the birds, their gentle hands soothing even the fiercest hawks. Noah spent hours in prayer, his heart wrestling with the weight of the world's loss. He thought of Tubal, of the children who had mocked him, of the cities now drowned. Yet he clung to God's promise, whispering, "You are just, and your mercy endures." On the 40th day, the rain stopped. Silence fell, broken only by the lapping of waves and the calls of animals. The ark drifted, carried by currents known only to the Creator. Noah opened the window, and a damp breeze filled the ark, carrying the scent of a world reborn. Chapter 5. The waiting days turned to weeks, then months. The waters receded slowly, and the ark came to rest on a mountain Noah would later call Ararat. The family waited, their faith tested by the monotony of confinement. Ham grew irritable, questioning why they could not leave. "The water is gone, Father. Why do we stay in this wooden prison?" Noah's voice was patient but firm. "The Lord will tell us when the time is right." To test the waters, Noah sent a raven through the window. It flew and did not return, perhaps finding a perch in the new world. Days later, he sent a dove. It returned, its beak empty, and the family's hearts sank. 7 days later, Noah sent the dove again. This time, it returned with an olive leaf, green and glistening. Joy filled the ark. Land was near. A week later, Noah sent the dove a final time. It did not return. He knew the earth was ready. The Lord's voice came once more. "Go forth from the ark, you and your family, and all the creatures with you. Be fruitful and multiply upon the earth." Noah opened the ark's door, and sunlight poured in, warm and golden. The family stepped onto dry ground, their feet sinking into mud. A week later, Noah sent the dove a final time. It did not return. He knew the earth was ready. The Lord's voice came once more. "Go forth from the ark, you and your family, and all the creatures with you. Be fruitful and multiply upon the earth." Noah opened the ark's door, and sunlight poured in, warm and golden. The family stepped onto dry ground, their feet sinking into mud, their eyes wide at the sight of a world washed clean. Mountains loomed, their peaks sharp against a sky streaked with clouds. The animals followed, bounding, slithering, and soaring into the new earth. Chapter 6. The Covenant of the Rainbow. Noah built an altar from stones, its surface rough but holy. He offered sacrifices, clean animals and birds, their smoke rising like a prayer. The Lord's presence was near, and his voice spoke. "I establish my covenant with you. Never again will all life be destroyed by a flood. I set my rainbow in the clouds as a sign of this promise, for you and all generations." Noah looked up, and there, arching across the sky, was a bow of colors, red, blue, violet, and hues no words could capture. Miriam wept, her hands clasped with adders and zillahs. Shem, Ham, and Japheth knelt, their hearts stirred by the beauty of God's mercy. The family settled in the new world, planting fields and tending flocks. The earth was different, wilder, raw, but it teemed with life. Noah taught his sons the ways of God, urging them to walk in righteousness. Yet he knew humanity's heart remained frail, prone to wander. The rainbow, though, was a reminder. God's promise was eternal, his mercy greater than judgment. Epilogue: the promise endures. Noah lived many years after the flood, his name a beacon of faith. His sons spread across the earth, their descendants carrying the story of the ark, the flood, and the rainbow. The world would falter again, but the covenant held, a thread of hope woven through time. God's promise maxima, the rainbow's light, the ark's salvation, the faith of one man, would echo forever, a testament to a God who saves, restores, and remembers.